Next up, Booker Prize-winning author Howard Jacobson is in town talking about his new work, Zoo Time, at the Book Festival. This features themes of desire, disappointment, death of the novel and mother-in-laws. Tim Samuels went along to meet him.
Howard Jacobson has made a career writing about very funny, very literary, typically northern Jewish men. And his latest novel, Zoo Time, is no exception. Howard.
How are you?
Good. But this time his anti-hero is a comic writer whose career has seen better days. He's also a married man, wildly in love with his fiery, flame-haired wife, Vanessa, and by extension, her vivacious mother, Poppy.
Normally, I presented her with a typescript hot from my computer. But how do you give your wife a novel about a man who's in love with his wife's mother? I deny the similarity, of course. This is a work of fiction, V, for Christ's sake. Any resemblance between the characters and persons living or dead, but she'd never swallow that, which left me with only two courses of action. Either I'd risk ending the marriage, or I'd not write the book.
Howard, I imagine this was tremendously good fun to write.
More fun than I've ever had writing a book. The most fun I've ever had writing a book. And the nicest thing you can say about it is that it feels as though it was fun to write, because that must mean it's fun to read.
Yeah.
But it's lovely. I do like writing about mothers and daughters, observing mothers and daughters. I've always been fascinated by the love between them, the ways in which they look alike, how they walk together, how they move together, the painful rivalries often not admitted between them. That itself is a great subject.
So the character, Guy Abelman, what kind of a guy?
He's one of these guys who would love to be a wild man. He would love to be lawless. I understand this. He's a nice person. He's been brought up to be a nice person, and he'd like to be a bad person. Affair with your mother-in-law, how much more shocking. At last he could shock the world with this.
And then you have this ridiculous industry, as portrayed here, the sort of the death of fiction, where fads are constantly changing. I mean, it's quite a toxic mix, I guess, to have that industry and that psyche together.
Yeah. I mean, what was the buzzword last year? Readable. A book had to be, what the hell is readable? The year before it was unputdownable. Unputdownable. I'd hate it if anybody found a book of mine Put it down. Put it down. Laugh at it. Scream, cry, throw it across the room, take a note, go and have a walk, open the windows. Put it down. He wanted to have 1,000 story apps ready to go for the mobile phone market. Bus stop reading, he called it. On books that could be started and finished while phoning for someone to call them back, or the traffic lights to change, or for the waiter to arrive with the bill. In short, to plug those small social hiatuses of life on the run.
It struck me as, I guess, a very confident, and I wonder whether, having won the Booker, you were then in a position where you can put your head above the parapet.
Well, look, here's the thing. This novel was started 6 months before I won the Man Booker, at a time when I had no belief I was going to win the Man Booker. So I thought, my career as a novelist is coming to an end. What am I going to do? But I'll go down fighting, and I'll write one funny novel about the end of it all. It'll be like a suicide note. Halfway through, I go and win the Man Booker Prize, which I thought probably would be the end of this book. And then I had a very bleak thought. I thought, what if this novel was going to be my best novel ever? My funniest, best novel ever? And what if the Man Booker Prize ruined it? Man Booker Prize ruins great novel. What if that happened? You had to be a writer to invite the trouble. You had to be a writer to be prepared to put your life into a sort of suspense while the story of what would happen had its way with you. I didn't give a fig for happiness. I was after bigger, dirtier fish. The truth is this: I do not believe there is or has been a writer alive that doesn't somewhere in his soul wonder if he really is any good or she is any good or not. It's not like being Usain Bolt. It can't be measured, it can't be proved. You never know if you're any good or not. So I think anything that feels like a confirmation of something that you hope might be the case, that you're all right, that you can do it, that you haven't been fooling yourself, comes as a huge relief.
Yeah, you were running in the right race.
Yeah. And not just running it, you were winning it.
Yeah.